Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine, and today I've got a new tutorial for you all, and this one is dealing with how to pitch correct or auto-tune a hip-hop style vocal that has a little bit of a melody line to it. So you've probably heard some verses like this where it's delivered as a hip-hop or a rap vocal, but there is some pitch content or some melody that goes along with it. And so I'm going to use auto-tune in this case to smooth it out, make it still sound natural, but make the verse more exciting and fit this particular style track, which is more of like a trap, soul, R&B kind of flavor. We're going to use the auto-tune to make it mesh a lot better and just sound more pleasing to the listener. Now, we're not going to be using auto-tune to give it like this radical robotic T-Pain type effect. So a lot of you have had questions about how to use auto-tune in a subtle way. And if you use it that way, it's a really, really useful tool. I use it all the time, not only just to pitch correct, but just to smooth things out so it's easier to blend in the mix if you've got a lot of layers. So let's jump into our verse, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use that technique on these. As you can see, there's no auto-tune on these layers currently. So I'm going to let you hear that just raw without any pitch correction.
Past pain plays like projections in my mind. Pass the time by venting through these lines all in the summertime. The sun is much brighter when I picture you in it. Last time you showed up, clouded, connection severed. I doubt it amounts to more than surface attractions or pleasant distractions. And I got frustrations now. Yeah, could you and I weather a storm, if any or plenty? Cause calm waters and sunsets ain't promised, let's be honest. Can I tell you?
All right, so let's dive in and start subtly auto-tuning our verse. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our main verse layer, which is here, and we're just going to load up auto-tune on this channel. I'm using auto-tune Evo. However, yours is going to look familiar or similar to this no matter what version you're on. I'm just using the 32-bit version because I haven't upgraded yet. But anyway, it will work the same way. So the first thing that you've got to do to use auto-tune effectively is you need to be able to identify the key of your song. This is probably the most common mistake with producers and artists coming up that are using auto-tune. If you set it to the wrong key, it's not going to sound good. It's definitely not going to sound natural, and it's really annoying. I hear it all the time. People, putting together songs and just not realizing that they have it set to the wrong key. It'll be really dissonant and not pleasant. So if you're not sure how to find the key of your song, it usually is the root note in your production, but that can differ. It just depends on the chord progressions. If you need some information on how to find the key of a song, you can YouTube it or Google it. There's plenty of videos out there that'll help you do that. The key of this song is D minor. So I need to go ahead and set that to the D minor scale. And let me just go ahead and mute our other layers here for now, as well as our backgrounds. We're going to auto-tune those as well. But let me load up our auto-tune, and I'm going to play back.
Past pain plays like projections in my mind.
So if you need to figure out exactly what's happening with the auto-tune, you want to go ahead and turn the retune speed to fast. Make sure Humanized is all the way down, and it's going to make it much easier to hear what is actually going on to start with. We're going to adjust that.
Past pain plays like projections in my mind. Pass the time by venting through these lines all in the summertime. The sun is much brighter when I picture you in it. Last time you showed up, clouded, connection severed. I doubt it amounts to more.
So my pitch isn't terrible in this, but it is grabbing some stuff, and you can hear with the retune speed. What the retune speed does is if you've got it really slow, it's going to grab those notes and correct them slower, so it'll give it more of this effect.
Past pain plays like projections in my mind. Pass the time by venting through these lines all in the summertime. The sun is much brighter when I picture you in it. Last time you showed up, clouded, connection severed. I doubt it amount.
So if you turn it up faster, you get a little bit more noticeable effect, and obviously you can use that for the really radical robotic T-Pain kind of effect if you want to. The other thing you want to do is you have input types with auto-tune, and these actually do make a pretty big difference. So with my voice, I have a lower tone. So I'm going to select low male. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to adjust the retune speed so that we're not quite all the way as fast as it'll go. So we make it a little more natural. Let's turn it to like 23 or so. And let me move my cycle.
Like projections in my mind, pass the time by venting through these lines all in the summertime.
Now the second thing you want to do is use this humanized control. This is really helpful. It does exactly that. It just makes it more natural, more human, less robotic. So we're going to turn that up a little bit.
Like projections in my mind, pass the time by venting through these lines all in the summertime. The sun is much brighter when I picture you in it. Last time you showed up clouded.
See, it's subtle, but it makes a really big difference. So our vocal is now in D minor, and it's following that melody that I was trying to deliver. So then let's just go ahead and copy that to our backing layers, which are not tuned currently. But I'm just going to drag the auto tune over to those respective channels, and that will load up the same settings for those layers.
Like projections in my mind, pass the time by venting through these lines all in the summertime. The sun is much brighter when I picture.
So like I was saying before, auto-tuning like this is really helpful when you're blending layers, because it will just make things sound a lot smoother, particularly if you've got a chorus with a lot of different layers going on. Deliveries are always going to be a little bit different, even if you have a really good singer. So putting a little bit of auto-tune like this on the layers is just going to make your blending job a lot easier.
Like projections in my mind.
So now let's go down here, and I have some harmonies, backing layers, kind of like punches going on, and my pitch is definitely not as good on these because there's a little more range to them.
Like projections in my mind, projections in my mind, all in the summertime.
So pretty flat. So let's go ahead and, again, all we got to do is just drag our auto-tune setting since we've got a good natural sound. We'll drag those over, and then let's see what that does to those.
Projections in my mind, all in the summertime.
Cool. So if you listen, again, you know, your listener is not going to hear that and immediately be thinking auto-tune, you know, that's got that robotic sound, because it doesn't. It just smooths it out. It gives you the perfect pitch without just having it be really mechanical. So I just like to use auto-tune in this way. So let me play back the verse now with all of our pitch correction, our subtle auto-tuning.
Like projections in my mind, pass the time by venting through these lines all in the summertime. The sun is much brighter when I picture you in it. Last time you showed up clouded, connection severed. I doubt it amounts to more than surface attractions or pleasant distractions, and I got frustrations now. Yeah, could you and I weather a storm, if any or plenty? Cause calm waters and sunsets ain't promised, let's be honest. Can I tell you how I feel?
So you can hear a lot of the harmonies even in the hook as I play that back, that I'm using this same method. And there's also some harmonies going on that have a little bit more radical or faster retune going on. One thing I did not notice, or that I did not mention, is the tracking option. So if you're more relaxed, this just means that it's going to let some notes kind of slide a little bit, versus if you're in choosy, it's going to really keep you reined into the scale. So that's what we want to do. We want to keep it in D minor, so you can adjust the tracking to give you a different effect there as well. And again, y'all, this is going to be a really helpful thing for those of you who are maybe not the greatest singers in the world like myself, but you can hit the notes. You just may be a little bit flat, a little bit sharp. It'll keep you reined in there as long as you're in the ballpark. It's also really helpful in the mixing process if you're dealing with a lot of layers, specifically in hooks. If you have, you know, a lot of different deliveries going on for the same take, you can just really glue things together this way. And I use it a lot in my mixing process for that. So anyways, y'all, hopefully this is helpful. If you learn anything in the video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and we'll talk to you soon.